What's up, girls? I just read An Artist of the Floating World by Kazuo Ishiguro. Kazuo Ishiguro is the 2017 Nobel Prize winner for literature. This is the fifth book that I've read by him, and it is about a Japanese World War II, I guess, imperial artist. A physical painter who kind of turned political as the war was dawning, and then later in life, now that he's 65, 70 years old, he's constantly reflecting on that time in his life before the war and whether or not he made the right decision, blah, blah, blah. Kazuo is a very interesting novelist to me. His books are a little bit plotless, I would say. And I really read this book with kind of an analytical lens on, because I've been working on my own style and sentence structure and plot structure as I write my second novel. And I've noticed he has kind of an interesting kind of like weaving technique, where he'll partially introduce something, but the pertinent information about it will be withheld by the protagonist, Ono, and then something will happen, and he'll be reflecting on a memory of back when he had a disciple, or when he was training to become an artist, and then it'll weave kind of seamlessly into his family life and his two daughters at home. He has one grandson, and he has one unmarried daughter that he's trying to marry off, and there's some tension between the two storylines because he perceives that his reputation about his art might be hurting his daughter's prospects for marriage. It's interesting. He's very much like a tricky author to me, because nothing really happens in the arc of the entire book other than it's kind of eventually revealed to the reader that he's been kind of withholding information from, his own myths about himself and the history of his art career. And then you kind of see that he's been withholding from guilt. It was very similar to Remains of the Day, which Kazuo wrote 2 books later. That's probably my favorite book by him, from the perspective of a British butler, and they both kind of deal with themes of cultural change and both England and Japan have a lot of influence coming in from America, and the kind of older established protagonists in both of those books seem to have a lot of mixed feelings about it. It seems like they're trying to feel good about it, even though you can tell it's kind of muddied by this emotional distress. It's causing them to see their own culture lose out to the Western American influence. But yeah, it's just, I almost want to go back and read it again immediately. I've kind of been on that lately, trying to garner a deeper understanding of the architecture of books, because I've realized often I'll walk away from a good book, especially a good book that's kind of literary or plotless, and it will be hard for me to put into words exactly why I really enjoyed it, outside of being able to talk about the themes that it goes into, or a character that I liked, or something like that. But, you know, like, it really was quite propulsive and kept me hooked the entire way, and my mind wasn't wandering, and I could sit down and read it for long blocks of time and be pretty interested the whole time, even though nothing really happens in it other than, I guess it's a psychological plot, because Ono is, you know, reasoning, he's kind of circularly reasoning with his feelings about, you know, his actions, and maybe leading Japan into the war. But, you know, I think Kazuo is a really great author. He's definitely one that perplexes me. This is the 5th book I've read by him. I'll certainly read a few more. And yeah, Artist of the Floating World. Thanks for watching.